Hey, Walter here. This could be another Demonology guide, but this time a spec centered around Dark Apotheosis. Hope you found the video helpful, and enjoy. So this is going to be a video based purely on the use of this glyph and a spec that I made just for it. For those of you who don't know what Dark Apotheosis is, it's technically a Warlock tank and flag carrier form, reducing physical damage you take by 17%, magical by 15, and increasing your threat generation. Some of the pros that I see this is survivability with the reduced damage, bubbles, and if you take Soul Link, you virtually take no damage. Utility with your auras and knockbacks, and mobility with Demon Leap. When you go in Dark Apotheosis, it gives you access to all the Metamorphosis abilities. Some of the downsides I do see to it is the reduced burst, the fact that you sometimes lack consistent damage and you have to be in melee most of the time to build up good Demonic Fury with the use of Demonic Slash since it's only a 10-yard range. But I'm gonna get into the talents that I think best suits it. So since this is a spec built purely for Dark Apotheosis, each talents have been chosen accordingly. The start is Dark Regeneration. I chose this is because it's a 30% heal, and you can still run around, have it on, and be in melee range while it's healing you. In my opinion, it's probably the best out of the first tier talents. Secondly, I chose Shadow Fury because it allows you to stay on your target by stunning them in place instead of sending them running away with Mortal Coil and Howl of Terror. You can also stun multiple opponents and stun people who are behind pillars, so it's fairly helpful. Next, I chose Soul Link for the 50% damage reduction. That, added onto the natural resistance of Dark Apotheosis, makes you extremely tanky. You could take Sacrificial Pact and Dark Bargain, but I feel since they're only bubbles and on a cooldown, I feel that this is more worth it since it's consistent and always there. For the fourth set of talents, I decided to go with Blood Fear. Reason behind this is because it's instant, because you can't really risk the time to cast a spell when using Dark Apotheosis since you want to be on your target at all times, and it's on a 10-second cooldown, so I feel this is really worth it. Next, you can't really go with Grimoire's Service because you lack the damage on your own. A lot of it is from your pets, and Grimoire's Supremacy simply lacks the burst, so I decided to go with Grimoire's Service for the extra Felguard. Helps if you get that extra kick when you pop your burst. For my final set of talents, I decided to go with Manaros Fury. Now if you watch my other video, I said that Manaros is not really viable for Demonology at the moment, but with this spec, I do see how it can be used to be effective. You cannot really go with Archimonde's Vengeance because Soul Link in conjunction with Dark Apotheosis, you're going to be taking no damage to begin with, so literally none is going to be getting reflected back onto your enemy. Also with Manaros, it allows you to have a lot of fun with turning your spells into that, and also lets you spread your Shadow Flame dot over a wider radius, which also builds you more Demonic Fury. So now I'm going to get into the Glyphs and tell you what I think is the best. The glyphs are pretty straightforward. When you want to start off with is Glyph of Imp Swarm. It summons 5 imps. They generate you a lot of Demonic Fury and also do a lot of damage, and the more Demonic Fury you have, the more you can use to spend it towards the various spells that are offered. Definite must for Demonology. Next has no need for explanation, the Glyph of Demon Hunting, which offers you Dark Apotheosis. Next is Glyph of Hellstone, increases the healing done by 100%. That, in conjunction with your Dark Regeneration, can raise you from 0 health to max health in no time at all. It's a definite must, more healing and more survivability. And wherever you can get that, you should definitely take that. For minor glyphs, you want to take Glyph of Nightmares, which gives you a run on water, which is fairly helpful in battlegrounds and whatever you may do in the game. Next, you want to take Hand of Gul'dan. So for those of you who are wondering how I get my Hand of Gul'dan to look like that, take this glyph, which allows you to target it at a location. When you use that in Manaros Fury, it turns into that animation that you see. This is fairly helpful because it allows you to apply your Shadow Flame dot over a wider area, and also allows you to get it on people who are hiding behind pillars. So in a way, it's pretty cool for a minor glyph. Some of the downsides to it I see is the fact that you do have to spend some time clicking it, setting location, and casting it, so you do sort of lose a bit of time on applying your dots, but it's worth it. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to get into some of the stats that you want to prioritize when you're using Dark Apotheosis, as well as gems. So after you get your hit cap, you'll want to focus mainly on Mastery. Mastery increases the damage done by your demonic servants, so that includes your imps, your Felguard, and your Grimoire Service Felguard, as well as reducing the damage you take in Dark Apotheosis. It's fairly helpful, and wherever you can reforge to Mastery without interrupting your hit cap, I suggest that you take that. Secondly is Crit Chance, which increases the damage done by your Soulfire. If you cannot reforge for Mastery, just reforge for Crit instead. And finally comes Hazed. It's pretty much useless since most of the time you're used in instant cast, though it does reduce the cooldown of your imps, so it's kind of helpful in that way, but this is sort of a last resort, something that you really don't want to prioritize on. For sockets, it's pretty easy too. In blue sockets, you want to get 320 PvP power, and in yellow sockets, put 320 PvP resilience. I think that's probably the best socketing that you can do at the moment. Some people are asking me about a rotation to use when you're in this spec, so I'm going to delve into that. In PvP, there's no real rotation that you can do. What you want to do is attempt to counter your opponent. So to start off every fight, I'll place up an Aura of Enfeeblement. An Aura of Enfeeblement reduces the physical damage they do, as well as increasing their cast time. So once that is up, what I normally do to anybody is open up with an Axe Toss, which gives you time to get up your Imps, your Corruption, as well as both your Handed Ghoul'dans. Once that is up, you want to start Demonic Slashing to build up your Demonic Fury. The more Demonic Fury you have, the more you can use to do stuff like Immolation Aura, Bubbles, and Knockbacks. It's pretty much now just a game of keeping on your target with Shadow Fury, fearing them if they're too far away, and other than that, there's no real advice that I can offer other than that. You're just going to try and keep on your target at all times, and bubble when you need it, and pop your heals. One little tip that I'll give you is before you pop your burst, put on Aura of the Elements, which increases the magic damage that they take. Once that is up, you can do some pretty ridiculous damage. Sorry this isn't too in-depth, guys, but I'll definitely be making dueling guides later on that will definitely you'll learn how to counter each class. But until then, guys, Walter out, hope you found the thing helpful, and talk to you next time.